Hello, Money Nation. Welcome to our safe space for all things money and to episode 6 in season 3 of the Hot Money Talks podcast. If you're just joining the community for the first time, let me do a little introduction. My name is Christine Ishampepe, the Money Mechanic, and I help you fix your finances. My mission is to equip African millennials and Gen Zs with adequate financial literacy, advice, and strategy so they can journey to financial freedom and live life purposefully on their own terms and to the fullest because money is no more a barrier. I want you to live your best life. The Hot Money Talks podcast is a series of honest, open, and transparent money conversations that will guide you on your journey to financial freedom. Here on the podcast, we believe 100% that financial freedom is possible with the right set of knowledge, the right amount of time, and the right circle of people. Thank you for being here. Now, in our last episode, we learned about the 5 laws of gold as outlined in my favorite finance book of all time, The Richest Man in Babylon. But in today's episode, we're going to be dealing with a very interesting topic. We're going to be looking into the issue of Ponzi schemes. So a few days ago, Kasala burst in Nigeria. Once again, Nigerians were scammed by a Ponzi scheme called CBEX. CBEX was a popular Chinese investment platform which crashed after being in operation for about, the news has 9 months, some has 6 months. But you see, the interesting thing about CBEX is that this particular so-called investment platform was promising Nigerians 100% return on interest in just 1 month. And of course, guess what happened? Nigerians fell for it. And long story cut short, they got scammed. One of such victims invested over 30,000 USD, yes, US dollars, with the hope that he will make double of the money at the end of the month, but lost it all. Another victim invested 60,000 US dollars, which, according to him, he borrowed from several sources or more. Will Nigerians ever learn? And this is very worrisome because this is not the first, second, or third or fifth of such Ponzi schemes that are disguised as investments that have swallowed the monies of gullible Nigerians over the years. At this juncture, I'd like to request that we take a moment of silence to just say rest in peace to all the monies that CBEX took away. It's crazy. According to the news again, it is said that over 1 trillion naira, that is around 822,000 US dollars, was wiped by CBEX in this Ponzi scheme. Have you been scammed before? Because if you have, I have been scammed before and I know how painful it can be. If you've been scammed before, then you know that a lot of these people are going through a whole lot of emotional trauma right now. But anyways, the most important thing we do as financially literate people is that when we see or hear about things like this, we focus on what lessons we can learn from such an experience. And so regardless of whether you fell a victim or not to CBEX, I would like us to discuss about a few red flags that can help us spot a Ponzi scheme. All right. The first red flag of a Ponzi scheme is that there is no product or service attached to a Ponzi scheme. Now, Ponzi schemes usually have no clear product or service attached to their investments. But you see, investments are not magic. Your money has to be working somehow and in some way. So when an investment is brought to you and you cannot clearly identify a product or a service being attached to that investment, then that's a red flag because that is proof that it is a Ponzi scheme. Because no matter what, if you take for instance now, let's say you are buying stocks or shares in a company, you know that at least you can identify the company that you are buying these stocks in. And then secondly, you can definitely say that, oh, this company is using my money to, let's say it's a bank. You know that they're using it in the banking industry to run the bank, to grow the bank, to expand the bank. There is some work or effort being put into, that money that has been invested. So when there is no clear product or service attached, it is a Ponzi scheme. Second red flag is no effort or work, right? So in other words, Ponzi schemes usually would promise you, air quotes, free money. Now, Ponzi schemes, right, hardly require work, or rather, money from Ponzi schemes hardly require work. It's so easy to make profit from a Ponzi scheme. And this is a red flag because investments require a measure of work and effort. So when there's no effort or work, in an investment, that is a red flag. Now, a third red flag of a Ponzi scheme is it's too good to be true. So, of course, we all know what it means for something to be too good to be true. When an investment is brought to you and it is too good to be true, then don't rush into it yet. These guys in CBEX were promising their investors 100% profit in 1 month. Haba mana. Haba. That is, what kind of business are you doing? What kind of profit are you making that you want to give your investors 100% return on their money, and in 1 month for that matter? Come on. Sounds too good to be true. Sounds to me like a money doubling scheme. And when something sounds like it is a money doubling scheme, it is obviously a Ponzi scheme. Another red flag of a Ponzi scheme is that the Ponzi scheme, disguised as an investment, is usually said to be risk-free. But you see, the thing that we must understand is that there is no investment on the face of the earth that is risk-free, because there's always a level of risk involved in an investment. There is no investment that is risk-free. Please, let's be clear. But then every investment has its level of risk. So there are investments that are low risk, medium risk, or high risk. But there is always a level of risk. So sometimes when these guys come with their Ponzi schemes, when they advertise it to you, they'll tell you, madam, oga, there is no risk involved in this investment. It's risk-free. No. You must now begin to question that investment. A fifth red flag is Ponzi schemes promise low risk but high returns. And that doesn't make sense, because a standing rule of investment is that low risk equals low returns, while high risk equals high returns. But you see, Ponzi schemes often present you with the idea that you can put in little money and then you cash out heavily from such a little investment. You think calm now. Investment is not magic. Investment leverages on time, on work, and on effort. Okay? Patience is involved in an investment. Like I said, it's not a money doubling scheme. And when you're doing an investment, you must know that it is always low risk, low returns, high risk, high returns. A quick example would be this. If Mr. A comes into an investment with 1 million naira, but Mr. B comes into the same investment with 100,000 naira, and that investment is said to bring a return of 10% after 12 weeks. Now, Mr. A, who came in with 1 million naira, is supposed to get 100,000 naira after 12 weeks. Mr. B, on the other hand, will only get 10,000 naira after 12 weeks. Same investment, same duration of time, same ROI. Now, let's say that the investment has an issue along the way and they lose money. Mr. A will lose a whole 1 million naira. Mr. B will lose only 100,000 naira. Their level of risk in this investment is totally different, and their returns are also different. That's why it is low risk, low return, high risk, high return. So when an investment is brought to you and they're telling you to bring your small 5,000, small 10,000, small 15,000, small 100,000, and they're promising you double or triple the amount of your capital, then that is a red flag. Now, another red flag of a Ponzi scheme is that there is pressure to recruit new investors. This is a very common red flag of a Ponzi scheme, because they pressure you to get new investors, and they call these guys downlines in most cases, and they do that because there's usually a bonus or an incentive when you register people. When there's an unhealthy pressure on you to register people under an investment, think again. Now, the sad thing is that there is something called multi-level marketing, right? And what Ponzi schemers have done is they've taken the framework of multi-level marketing or network marketing, and they're using it to scam people. And so people are usually scared when they say register people, bring down line, because that is the strategy they have taken. When there's an unhealthy pressure, you should be the one deciding if you want to get people to sign up in an investment or not. You shouldn't be pressured to do so. So when there's unhealthy pressure, it could be a sign of a Ponzi scheme. Yet another red flag is Ponzi schemes are unregistered and unregulated. Most Ponzi schemes are not regulated by the government. This is why you must do your research before putting your money into any investment. It is very important. Now, news has it that CBEX was flagged in Hong Kong early 2024 for fraud, fake exchange, and fake payouts. But how many Nigerians did their research into CBEX? So you see, when we say do your research for an investment or in an investment or into an investment, this is why it is important, because a simple Google search could save you from putting your money in a Ponzi scheme. Always do your research. That's why we have the Securities and Exchange Commission in Nigeria. Their duty is to oversee investment companies in Nigeria, and when they are not licensed by the SEC, that's a red flag already. And the SEC has come out clearly to state that CBEX was not registered or licensed by them. So, they were unregulated, and that's why they were able to scam people and get away with it. Now, the very final red flag for today is unknown faces behind the brand. Many times, the real faces behind the Ponzi scheme are unknown. They usually just use the first clients to front the investments while hiding behind them. This is again why research is important. Research into who are the founders, how long have they been around for, who can vouch for them. Always ask the right questions and don't be so quick to put money in unverified investments. Don't be so quick to just put your money because this person says, oh, I got paid. Don't be so quick. Do your research. Who are these people? Where are they from? It's very, very important. And you see, what I've seen happen in most cases in Nigeria is when these Ponzi schemers come, they get a couple of Nigerians who are vibrant, excited, the first subscribers, and then they flaunt them as the faces of the brand. So when eventually the Ponzi scheme crashes, you see that it is these people that people are holding because they are the ones they know, they are their uplines. And then these schemers, they vanish neatly into thin air. Please, it is always important that you do your research. Don't be so quick. Investment is good. Wealth and abundance is good. ROI is sweet. But ensure that you get the right information before you get into an investment. Doing your research will save you money. And it will also make you money because by doing your research again, you will also find out legit investments through doing the right research. At this point, I would like to encourage you that if you really want to, know more about investment and know about how not to get scammed, I have a free ebook. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. But you can also just do a simple Google search and just type in how not to get scammed by the Money Mechanic, and you'll see that it's free for download. It's a short, simple book that just gives you more knowledge into how to prevent yourself from being scammed. I'd like to end today by saying that CBEX is not the first Ponzi scheme to come out, and it will not be the last. So as Nigerians will say, make you shine your eye. Would you like to share your experiences or thoughts on this topic? Let's continue the conversation in the comments, or you can send me an email at talktothemoneymechanic@gmail.com. If you were scammed, I hope that this is a lesson for you to do your research and get knowledge first before putting money into an investment. Did you enjoy today's episode? Thank you for listening. Sharing is caring, so please go ahead and share the link to this episode with someone you want to see win with their finances this year and beyond. It would mean the world to me if you took a few minutes to leave me a review in the comment section of this podcast so that others can see your endorsement and join the community of listeners who enjoy this podcast. If you have any burning questions that you'd like me to answer on the podcast, please shoot me an email via talktothemoneymechanic@gmail.com and let me know your dilemma. Don't forget that new episodes of the Hot Money Talks podcast drop every Saturday, and you can listen to them on your favorite podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Subscribe and follow the show on either of these platforms so that you are notified whenever an episode is released. Recommendations are powerful, so please tell your friends and family about this podcast so we can go on this journey together. To connect with me on other platforms, do well to follow The Money Mechanic at The Money Mechanic page on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I hope most importantly that you will take action on your finances today. Sending you love, light, and a sprinkle of money in between.